Good morning from the canal, and it's a cracker of a day. Even cut the grass because I'm going away on my holidays. So I was boiling, so to come up and jump in here is an absolute treat. Yeah, so getting into nature. As we know, right now what we're doing with Heal Scotland is we're putting a few people through their healing programmes. You know, healing's very much like dieting. It's the exact same actually, because basically you need things to change, which means that you need to change what you eat and what you do and how you think. And one of the reasons things like Weight Watchers are so successful is that because it's much, much easier and nicer to do it with other people. And it's great to have a really fully informed support team that understand what you're doing. But ultimately it all comes down to you. Nobody can do the healing for you. There's no point in looking out there. You can certainly find people to help and assist you, but ultimately the daily food, thinking, perceiving, being and doing comes from you. So we're putting a friend of mine, Leona, we put her on the Bioresonance Reconnect machine to find out what was the root cause of her disease, her label is Parkinson's. And we found that strep was present, and also aluminium, which heavy metal poisoning is a huge thing for a lot of our bodies, and it affects some of us worse than others. So now we're on a programme using the bioresonance machine, nutrition, supplementation, support, meditation, mind stuff to help rebalance and give the body back the energy that it so desperately needs for us to live a really happy, healthy, fun, curious, exciting life. And the thing is, most people now have just been worn down over the years. And I include myself in this. You know, getting old is another disease. You move less, you do less, you're less excited about stuff, and you stop doing all the things that made you feel great, dancing, listening to music, hanging out with your friends, because life kind of gets in the way. And hopefully that is what the lockdown has done for us, is to help us see, you know, there is another way to do this, and we're taking stock about the madness and the mayhem that's going on, and having the energy to think for yourself and your family and make the right choices, because the right choice might not be the same for each one of us. So when you're healing, it's really important to educate yourself. You know, I can tell you what to do, but unless you fully understand why you're doing it and the impact that you're having on the body, then you're likely, and if you don't get a result within a couple of weeks, you're just like, shite, that didn't work. In actual fact, what we're understanding now is with neuroscience, it can take years. You know, they say around 2 years to really teach the body this new trick. So when you think about, take learning to drive, for example, how long did it take for you to be able to drive confidently without thinking? It's not something that happens overnight. You need to keep doing it. You need to, because basically we can teach this body to do tons of incredible things. Playing an instrument, you don't become a master musician in 2 years. Usually it's dedication and practice and going that little bit further, and maybe you take a rest and then you get back onto it, and that's kind of what the healing journey is like. And living in this toxic planet that we've just polluted so beautifully, even polluted the soil, so that our food doesn't have the same amount of life and light in it than it used to have. That's how crazily disconnected we are from nature. So it's time to really redress these imbalances. What you put in your mouth is going directly through that ecosystem, and of course it's affecting everything, but it's affecting how you think, how you feel, what you perceive. Even if it's like you think, I could do that. If you're not eating live, nutritious food, you're probably thinking you can't do things. You're probably thinking you're powerless. When in actual fact, nothing could be further from the truth. You're super, super powerful. And but the food that you're putting in is helping you to feel low and unenergised. So therefore you're believing that you're not as powerful as you actually are. So if you imagine, if you've ever had a really bad hangover and you've had the fear and you're like, oh, I can't do this, I don't want to see people. Imagine that on a grand scale. That's what most of us are experiencing. We're just not getting the life force back into the cells. We're not outside. 90% of people in the UK, no, 100% of people in the UK are spending only 10% of their time outside. So you're missing out on the light, the sun, the connection, the views, all of that, the air, the full spectrum of light that affects the pineal gland, the eyes, and we're so busy covering ourselves up with hats, sunscreen, sunglasses, everything, things in our ears, things in our face, things. It's just like, whoa! We're just becoming more and more disconnected and more tired. So it's time now to wake up to the magic of the cold, of the breath, of nature, of light. Get your feet on the ground and reconnect. Because it's time and you'll feel amazing. Have a great one. Ciao.